Top 3 best gut healing foods to eliminate frequent urination at night nocturia.
Have you ever woken up in the quiet of the night, not to a bad dream or a creaky floorboard, but to that all too familiar pressure in your bladder? You sit up slowly. The room is still, but your body, it's wide awake, dragging you once again toward the bathroom. Maybe it happens once, maybe two, 3 times a night. And by morning, you're not just tired, you're drained. And if you're living with diabetes, you might think, well, this is just how life is now. But what if I told you? It might not be your bladder's fault at all. What if the answer starts deeper in your belly, where trillions of tiny helpers live? Helpers that, when fed the right way, can calm your body, balance your blood sugar, and help you, finally, sleep through the night. This isn't a miracle cure. It's not a fad. It's something quieter, gentler, like a good bowl of food, shared with someone who cares. So let's walk through this together, one small step at a time. And if this sounds like a journey someone you love needs to, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got a lot to talk about.
Part 1. Gut trouble at midnight. Let me tell you about someone I know, Margaret, 72 from Kansas, every night, like clockwork. Around 2:15 a.m., she'd wake up with that uncomfortable urgency. She'd shuffle to the bathroom in her fuzzy slippers, hands on the hallway wall for balance. And when she got back to bed, her eyes wouldn't close so easily. She told me, "Doc, it's not the walking, it's the lying there afterward, knowing morning's coming and I'll be too tired to enjoy it." Sound familiar? Now, here's what might surprise you. Margaret didn't have a bladder infection. Her kidneys were fine. What she did have was an overworked digestive system and a gut microbiome that had gone a little haywire. You see, inside our bellies live trillions of little bugs, bacteria, fungi, even viruses, all doing their jobs. When they're balanced, they help us digest food, absorb nutrients, fight inflammation, and regulate hormones, including the one that controls nighttime urination, antidiuretic hormone. But when that gut community gets disrupted, say, from too much sugar, too little fiber, or years of antibiotics, things fall apart. Inflammation flares up, blood sugar swings get worse, and that little hormone that's supposed to keep your bladder calm at night, it stops getting the right signals. So instead of holding urine like it should while you sleep, your body lets it go again and again. In my years as a doctor, I've seen this pattern far too often. Patients focus on their kidneys, their bladder, even their medications, but no one's talking to them about the gut. And yet, the gut is where so much healing begins. Let me explain why this matters. If your gut is inflamed, your whole body is inflamed. That means higher insulin resistance, meaning your body struggles to pull sugar out of the blood. That excess sugar then feeds the wrong kinds of bacteria in your gut, not the friendly ones that help, but the noisy, disruptive ones that make everything worse. And what's more, those bad bacteria increase gas, bloating, discomfort, and yes, more nighttime trips to the bathroom. But here's the hopeful part. This isn't irreversible. Your gut is alive, it's listening, and with a few simple changes, the right foods in the right rhythm, you can start sending new signals to your body, signals that say, rest now, heal now, we're okay. When Margaret started adding gut supportive foods to her dinner, just small steps, like ginger tea before bed and less processed bread, she noticed something curious. The bathroom trip moved to 3:30 then a few weeks later, it didn't happen at all. And for the first time in years, she told me, She slept until sunrise warm, still, and at peace. So, if you've been blaming your bladder or your age, I want you to pause for a moment. Let's consider your gut instead. Because what's going on inside might be the key to what's waking you up at night. And that brings us to the first surprising food, a spicy little root with a long history of healing. Ready to meet it? Let's talk about ginger. Part 2. Ginger. The warming root that soothes more than tummies. When I first suggested ginger to Henry, a retired jazz musician from Mississippi, he laughed and said, "Doc, I thought that was just for sushi." But let me tell you, a few weeks later, he was singing the praises of this little root louder than his old saxophone solos. See, ginger isn't just a garnish, it's a gut's best friend. It's been used for thousands of years across cultures, not because it's trendy, but because it works, and not in a dramatic, overnight way. Ginger is more like a kind neighbor who shows up every day with a quiet, "How can I help?" So let's break it down. First off, ginger is anti inflammatory, and I don't mean in a vague wellness magazine way. It contains natural compounds like gingerol and shogal that literally calm your body's inflammatory signals. Why does this matter? Because in people with diabetes, especially seniors, chronic inflammation makes everything harder. It worsens insulin resistance, meaning your body struggles to use insulin properly. That leads to higher blood sugar, which leads to more inflammation, and the cycle continues. Now, picture this every time you add ginger to your diet. It's like tossing a little water on that fire. And here's where it gets really interesting. Ginger doesn't just calm the blood, it soothes the belly. It stimulates your digestive juices, helping your stomach break down food smoothly. Less gas, less bloating, more comfort after meals. And when your digestion works well, your gut microbiome thanks you. Remember that 2A bathroom run. Well, many seniors don't realize how deeply tied that is to poor digestion. If your gut is off balance, your hormones, including the ones that manage urine flow, get thrown off too. But when your gut feels safe, your whole system relaxes. That's what happened to Henry. He started sipping a small cup of warm ginger tea after dinner, not even every night. Just 2 or 3 times a week. He liked the way it warmed his chest and settled his stomach. But what he really noticed by the end of the second week, he wasn't waking up until dawn. First time in years. He told me, eyes wide like a kid on Christmas morning. Now let's talk practicality. How do you get ginger into your routine without it feeling like a chore? The simplest way, ginger tea. Just slice a thumb-sized piece of fresh ginger, toss it into hot water, and let it steep for 5-10 minutes. Add a little lemon or honey if you like, not too much. Sip slowly. Make it part of your evening wind down. You can also grate ginger into stir fry, oatmeal, even smoothies. And no, it doesn't have to taste spicy. When used right, ginger has a soft, citrusy warmth that many people grow to crave. But here's my one caution. Don't overdo it. A teaspoon a day is plenty. Too much can upset your stomach or thin your blood more than you'd like. Also, skip the sugar-loaded ginger candies or syrups. Those spike blood sugar, the exact opposite of what we want. So if you've been tossing and turning at night or waking up with a bladder that won't stay quiet, maybe give this little root a chance. It worked for Henry and for thousands of years before him. Now, ginger's not the only food that can help bring peace to your nights. There's another soft orange, sweet, and surprisingly powerful. Let's talk about sweet potatoes. Part 3, sweet potatoes. The comfort food with a sugar-soothing secret. If you ask Dolores from Arizona, 76 years old and sharp as ever, what her favorite childhood food was, she'll smile and say, Mama's mashed sweet potatoes with cinnamon on top always made me feel full and loved. But after her type 2 diabetes diagnosis, Dolores cut them out cold. I figured sweet meant sugar and sugar meant trouble. She told me, half laughing, half regretful. But here's the thing, sweet potatoes are one of the sweetest surprises in diabetes friendly eating. Let me explain why. Unlike white potatoes, sweet potatoes have a low to moderate glycemic index, meaning they raise blood sugar slowly and gently. Instead of dumping sugar into your bloodstream like a tidal wave, they release it like a calm stream, giving your body time to process it properly. Why does this matter for sleep and nighttime urination? Because when your blood sugar stays stable in the evening, your kidneys and bladder stay calmer. 2. High blood sugar late at night forces your body to pull fluid out of your tissues. It's trying to flush out the extra glucose. That means more urine and more midnight trips. But when your dinner includes a healthy portion of sweet potato, your body gets complex carbs, fiber, and a slow sugar release that helps prevent those spikes. Fiber is the magic word here. Not only does it slow digestion and sugar absorption, it feeds your gut bacteria. Remember those little helpers we talked about earlier? They love fiber. Sweet potatoes offer both soluble and insoluble fiber, which helps keep digestion steady and gut inflammation low. Dolores didn't know any of this at first, but once she added back a small scoop of roasted sweet potatoes to her dinner, about half a cup, her digestion improved. She felt more satisfied, less bloated, and, most importantly, she wasn't waking up soaked in exhaustion. I started dreaming again, she told me. Hadn't had dreams in years, just bathroom runs. Now let's look at another reason this humble root deserves a spot on your plate: potassium. Sweet potatoes are full of it, and potassium is essential for fluid balance in the body. Low potassium levels can make your body hold on to sodium, which increases urination, especially at night. Getting enough potassium helps your kidneys regulate fluid without overworking your bladder. Plus, sweet potatoes contain vitamin A, magnesium, and antioxidants, all of which support immune function, nerve health, and inflammation control. But here's where I've seen many patients go wrong: the preparation. If you're drowning sweet potatoes in brown sugar, marshmallows, or butter, that's dessert, not medicine. Instead, roast them. Slice them into wedges, drizzle with a little olive oil, sprinkle some cinnamon, and bake at 400 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Or make a savory mash with sautéed spinach and garlic. Trust me, your taste buds and your gut will thank you. Dolores now makes a big tray of roasted sweet potatoes on Sundays and keeps them in the fridge, quick to warm up. Easy to pair with anything, and for her, they've become more than comfort food, they're a part of healing. So, if your body's been begging for balance and your bladder's been demanding attention, maybe what you need is something sweet but smart. But wait, we're not done. There's a third gut-loving food that might be sitting quietly in your fridge, waiting to be rediscovered. Let's talk about kefir, a creamy drink with a surprisingly strong impact. Part 4. Kefir. The creamy drink that fights inflammation from the inside out. I'll never forget Earl from Pennsylvania. 81 years young, always wore suspenders, and thought yogurt was just milk gone bad. When I mentioned kefir to him, he squinted and said, "Now what kind of science fair project is that?" But a month later, he called me, chuckling. "Doc, I think this little drink fixed my plumbing." See, kefir isn't just fancy yogurt, it's a fermented milk drink, rich in probiotics, those beneficial live bacteria that help your gut stay in balance. Think of it as sending reinforcements into your digestive tract. Why does this matter? Because if you're living with diabetes, especially for many years, chances are your gut microbiome has taken a few hits. Medications, processed foods, stress, they all wear down the good bacteria that keep things running smoothly.
And when that bacterial balance tips the wrong way, you get inflammation, poor digestion, unstable blood sugar, and, yes, even nocturia. Here's how Kefir helps. Its probiotics help repopulate your gut with friendly bacteria. These bacteria calm inflammation, improve nutrient absorption, and support the production of key hormones involved in hydration and glucose balance. Now picture this when your gut is happy and inflammation is down. Your bladder doesn't get mixed signals at night. You rest longer, deeper. That's what happened with Earl. He started drinking half a cup of plain, unsweetened kefir after dinner, just like a dessert, a little tangy, a little creamy. He said it reminded him of buttermilk from his childhood, but less grumpy. He joked, after 2 weeks, he noticed fewer bloating episodes. His late night sprints to the bathroom slowed down. By the end of the month, he was sleeping 6 straight hours, something he hadn't done in a decade.
And the best part, he didn't have to overhaul his diet. Just that one small addition, a glass of kefir, helped realign his gut. But let me offer a word of caution. Not all kefir is created equal. Many store-bought options are loaded with added sugars and artificial flavors. And sugar, as you know, feeds the wrong kind of gut bacteria, the ones that promote inflammation and wreck blood sugar. So always choose plain, unsweetened kefir. You can sweeten it naturally with some cinnamon, a few fresh berries, or a slice of banana if you like. Better yet, blend it into a smoothie, half a cup of kefir, a handful of blueberries, a sprinkle of chia seeds, and boom, a gut-friendly, blood sugar balancing bedtime treat. Also, if you're lactose sensitive, don't worry. Kefir is surprisingly low in lactose because the bacteria digest most of it during fermentation. Most of my patients who can't tolerate milk do just fine with kefir. And just like ginger and sweet potatoes, consistency matters more than quantity. A little kefir, a few times a week, can make a bigger difference than you think. Earl still drinks his science project every Tuesday and Friday night. And he always says, I don't know how it works. I just know I don't pee 5 times a night anymore. Sometimes the simplest things are the most powerful. But we're not stopping here, because all 3 of these foods, ginger, sweet potatoes, and kefir, work even better when your body's rhythm is in sync. Let's explore how your hormones, hydration, and nighttime habits tie everything together. Part 5, the rhythm of night and day hormones, is hydration and hope. Let's take a moment and talk about rhythm. Not music, though I know some of you still dance when no one's watching. I'm talking about the quiet rhythm inside your body. The one that governs when you feel sleepy, when you get hungry, when your bladder says, hey, it's time. That rhythm, it's ruled by hormones. And one of the key players, especially when it comes to midnight bathroom trips, is something called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH for short. Now, don't let the long name scare you. Just think of it as the hormone that tells your kidneys to hold on to water, especially at night. When it's working right, ADH helps you stay asleep by keeping your bladder calm. But when your body is inflamed, oversugared, or overtired, that hormone gets shy. It doesn't send the right signals. And suddenly, instead of holding fluid while you sleep, your body decides, let's go now.
That's why blood sugar balance and gut health matter so much. But so does something else, hydration timing. I had a patient named Sandra, 68, a retired school bus driver from Minnesota. She drank 8 glasses of water a day like clockwork, just like every health article told her to. But she drank half of those glasses in the evening while watching TV after dinner. So she'd fall asleep around 10 and be up at 12:30, 2:45, and 4:10. Not because she drank too much, but because she drank too late. When we shifted her hydration to earlier in the day, front loading water in the morning and afternoon, and sipping gently at night, everything changed. Her kidneys had time to filter. Her bladder had less to hold. Her nights got longer. Her days got brighter. And that rhythm, it returned. Now, here's where it all ties together. Your gut bacteria, your blood sugar, your fluid balance, and your hormones. They're all dancing to the same song. When one falls out a step, the rest stumble too. But when you gently guide that rhythm with healing foods like ginger, fiber-rich sweet potatoes, probiotic-rich kefir, and simple habits like early hydration and mindful meals, you give your body a chance to remember the beat. And let's be honest, it's not just about fewer bathroom trips. It's about the dignity of resting through the night, the peace of waking without fatigue, the joy of sitting on the porch with your coffee, not thinking about how many hours you didn't sleep. It's about claiming your rhythm again. So tonight, maybe swap that evening soda for warm ginger tea. Maybe scoop a little mashed sweet potato onto your plate instead of white rice. Maybe sip half a glass of kefir while reading before bed. These aren't huge overhauls. They're small acts of care, rhythmic steps back toward a body that feels like home again.
But before we wrap up, there's one common mistake I've seen undo all this progress, and we need to talk about it. Let's take a look at what not to eat or drink before bed, even if it claims to be healthy. Part 6. The one mistake that undermines it all. Carol from Florida thought she was doing everything right. Ginger tea check, sweet potatoes, yep. A cup of kefir before bed. Every night, but she was still waking up twice. Why? Turns out she was drinking a healthy fruit smoothie at 8 p.m. loaded with 25 grams of sugar. Even natural sugars can spike your blood glucose, especially at night. And when your blood sugar rises, your kidneys work overtime to flush it out. That means more urine, more waking up. I see this all the time: low-fat yogurt, sweetened kefir, energy bars, even fruit juices, all labeled healthy. But quietly sabotaging your sleep. Here's the fix. Keep it simple and plain at night. Unsweetened. Kefir, whole ginger, roasted veggies, water or herbal tea. Carol made one change, swapped the smoothie for warm lemon ginger water within days. Her nights were quiet again. So if you're doing everything right but still waking up, check the label.
That healthy snack might be the problem? Now, let's gently wrap up everything we've learned. So here we are, back at the beginning, where your night was once interrupted by quiet footsteps and bathroom lights. But now, you know something deeper. You've learned that your gut isn't just about digestion. It's a control center for your blood sugar, your inflammation, your hormones, and even your sleep. You've met 3 gentle but powerful allies. Ginger, the warming root that calms inflammation and steadies digestion. Sweet potatoes, the fiber-rich comfort food that balances sugar and soothes the gut. And kefir, the creamy, probiotic-rich drink that restores the healthy bacteria you've been missing. You've also seen how one small mistake of sugary health food before bed can undo a whole day's progress. But the bigger truth, you're not powerless. Your body, even now, listens and responds with every bite you take. Better sleep isn't a miracle. It's a quiet reward for steady, loving care. And no, you don't have to be perfect, just consistent, just kind, just
open to trying one small change at a time, because you still deserve peaceful nights. You still deserve mornings filled with energy, not exhaustion. And you still deserve to feel strong, balanced, and well, even after 60. If this video reminded you of someone you love, send it to them. If it gave you hope, let me know in the comments. Even just a one lets me know I'm helping. And if you're ready to keep walking this path of healing with me, click that subscribe button. We're just getting started. Here's to fewer bathroom lights and brighter mornings. You've got this.